Welcome back to the deep dive. We often talk about information overload, but today we're doing the opposite. We're taking a stack of detailed technical sources and trying to extract the one single perfectly engineered concept that explains an entire field of mastery.
But we are really going deep on this one.
We are. We're diving into what many consider the single most brilliant, demanding, and psychologically bruising stretch of land in competitive sports. The road hole.
That's absolutely right. Our mission today isn't just to describe the scenery, it's to really dissect the architecture and the psychology behind the legendary 17th hole on the Old Course at St. Andrews. For you, the listener, we're lifting the veil to show you why it's called the road hole and why it's still one of the world's most iconic tests of skill.
And what makes this dive so rich is our source material. We've got technical notes, architectural schematics, and insights from a golf academy director. I mean, someone who lives and breathes this stuff. This isn't just stories. This is a highly technical breakdown of strategy, geometry, and the mental toll this patch of ground takes.
It's the genius and maybe the madness of the design.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's start with its identity. I mean, the 17th hole is this almost mythical thing, right? It's always called an uncompromising test. It is, to put it simply, a survivor.
It really does feel like it's been there forever, just sort of defying time and technology.
And in many ways it has. Historically, the routing of the Old Course has stayed remarkably constant for over a century. But, and this is key, the 17th hole itself went through a major, you could even say brutal transformation back in the 1960s.
And that shift, our sources say it was a completely different animal before that, right? A much softer test.
It was. It changed dramatically from what was often a manageable shorter par 5 into the monster par 4 we know today.
A par 5, wow.
Yeah, before the 60s, the length wasn't as prohibitive.
Yeah.
But as equipment got better, higher ball speeds, longer carries, that par 5 status just wasn't a true test of excellence anymore. The hole needed to be hardened.
So the change wasn't just aesthetic, it was an act of architectural necessity. They had to take a shot away from the scorecard just to make it hard again.
Precisely. To preserve its historical challenge, they had to respond.
Right.
And then later extensions just kept pushing the tee farther and farther back.
So now it's a behemoth.
A true behemoth. It measures close to 500 yards, which is an intimidating distance for a par 4 under any circumstances. It takes 2 perfect shots just to get near the green.
And that 500-yard number is just the starting point, isn't it? The effective distance changes depending on where they put the flag.
Right. When the flag is tucked back on that far plateau, which is the common championship spot, the effective distance and the angle you need, it feels infinitely longer. The sources all emphasize that no matter the yardage, the road hole demands 3 things: precision, immense courage, and maybe most importantly, imagination.
Imagination, because you're going to get into trouble.
You are. And because you can't even see your target off the tee.
Which is just wild. How can you have a world-class hole where you can't see the fairway?
This is where the architecture really starts playing games of you. That infamous blind tee shot. You are literally playing the ball over buildings, over sheds, towards a fairway you cannot see. It's a terrifying way to start a high-stakes hole.
But I wonder, why hasn't modern technology just made that irrelevant? Can't the pros just launch it high enough to carry everything and not worry about it?
That's the genius of it. It's a deliberate preservation of tension. Our technical notes confirm this. Historic maps show there were always structures there, old rail lines, sheds. They created the original blind shot. So when those were removed, they were replaced by modern buildings, specifically positioned to keep obscuring the view.
So they're actively choosing to preserve that uncertainty. You're not just aiming over a hill. You're firing over solid structures with zero visual confirmation.
Zero. And all the while, you know that the moment the ball lands, the real trouble starts. The out-of-bounds line runs continuously and tightly along the entire right side of the fairway.
A perfect 300-yard drive that just rolls a couple feet too far right.
And it's gone. Out of bounds. It creates this agonizing choice. Do you hug that dangerous out-of-bounds line to get the best angle for your second shot? Or do you play it safe, bail out left, knowing you're adding 15 yards to an already impossible approach and bringing that infamous bunker into play?
So if that blind drive is the first punch, the approach shot to the green is the knockout blow. It's a total mental reset from aggression to pure surgical precision.
The green really is the heart of the road hole's uncompromising nature. And here's the contradiction. For a hole that's almost 500 yards long, the green is actually the smallest on the entire Old Course.
The smallest. That's incredible. And it's set at this brutal angle, almost sideways to you.
Yes, it's a diagonal green. Thin, long, and wedged right up against the road. And that diagonal setup dictates the only sane strategy for your second shot, which is completely counterintuitive.
Right, and the sources are so clear on this, you do not aim for the green. You have to land it short.
Correct. The optimal play is to land the ball purposefully short, sometimes 15, 20 yards short, and trust the firm turf of St. Andrews to accept the ball and let it release forward.
That seems so risky, though. Landing short feels like you're giving up, leaving yourself a tough chip. Why is that the smarter play?
Because the alternative is just catastrophic. If you try to land the ball directly on that elevated back plateau, the chances of it running through are enormous.
A little too much speed and you're
On the road,
Right.
or worse, up against that stone wall, the notes are very clear. On the road hole, being long is almost always worse than being short. You avoid going past the flag at all costs.
It sounds like it's designed to just induce panic. Tell me more about this two-tiered structure.
It's brilliantly structured, almost like two separate targets. You have two circular sections connected by this narrow, unforgiving transition slope. The front section actually falls away from you, down towards the road.
So if you miss the back part, it just feels like it's rolling into an abyss.
Exactly. And the high ground, the back plateau, is the only place you can really make a putt. It rises about 3 feet higher than the front. All the championship pins are on this tiny upper shelf.
But because you're coming in on that sharp diagonal.
It becomes incredibly narrow. A razor's edge of grass with zero margin for error. A ball landing a foot past the ideal line is already gone.
Which brings us to the ultimate protectors of par. Let's start with the road hole bunker. It's famous for being tiny, but devastating.
Ah, the road hole bunker. Yes, the bunker itself is physically small. The notes say it's only a few feet wide and several feet deep, but its strategic influence is monumental. It plays far, far larger than it looks.
How does something so small become such a huge threat? Does it have, like, a gravitational pull?
In a way, yes. The ground around it is engineered to funnel shots into it. It's like a magnetic drain. If you miss the green just a little bit left, the slopes will often just grab the ball and feed it right down into that pit.
And you can be on the green, putting for birdie, and still end up in there.
Absolutely. That transition slope between the two sections of the green is crucial. Putts, chips, approach shots that don't quite make it up top. They hit that slope, curve downward, and feed directly towards the bunker.
It's a trapdoor.
A true trapdoor. Getting in there is almost a certain bogey, if not worse. The angle out is nearly vertical, to a green sloping away from you.
But the ultimate hazard, the one that defines the true nature of St. Andrews, is the road itself and that ancient stone wall.
Yes. And the notes confirm a critical fact here. The road, the actual pavement, and the stone wall have never been marked as out of bounds.
I just can't imagine that. You're one stroke behind on Sunday at the Open. Your ball bounces off the green and it settles on the pavement. You have to play it.
You must play it as it lies. This is what makes it the purest test. No free drops, no relief. You have to decide if you could chip it off the asphalt or maybe hack it out sideways from the base of the wall. It is maximum punishment with no relief granted.
It sounds like genius, but isn't it also, kind of unfair? Doesn't modern golf reward execution over bad luck? This just seems like pure chance.
And that's the philosophical debate, isn't it? It tests skill, but it also tests your acceptance of fate. A modern course would absolutely soften that. But here, the rule forces you to accept that one good swing can still lead to a nightmare. It tests your temperament.
Which brings us back to the big question. If it's so brilliant, why doesn't every new course just build a road hole 2.0?
Because they can't. Many have tried, but the notes say none have ever succeeded. You can build a diagonal green and a deep bunker, but you can't copy the history, the specific turf, or the unique relationship to the town that creates that blind drive.
So it's the whole environment, the wind, the soil, the history. It's not just the features.
Exactly. Its brilliance is in that unique blend. The mandatory blindness, the extreme angle, the specific St. Andrews turf, the multiple hazards, and the unrelenting psychological pressure. It's a complete system.
I love the poetic description our source uses. They compare it to a perfect musical phrase that can't be copied because it's about the silence and the rhythm, not just the notes.
That's a perfect analogy. The notes say the rhythm of the road hole is defined as much by the space between its features as by the features themselves. It's about the mental journey required to navigate that space under extreme pressure.
It really is pure genius, a hole that rewards total commitment but also demands you accept that some things are out of your control. The road hole remains one of the purest examinations of skill in the game.
Indeed. It forces you to confront the deepest difficulties of the game over and over.
This has been an incredible deep dive. For you, the listener, here are the key insights. We learned the hole was drastically changed from a par 5 to a nearly 500-yard par 4 in the 60s to fight back against technology. The tee shot is intentionally blind, a historical tension they actively preserve. The ideal, counterintuitive second shot is to land short and let the ball run on.
And of course, the most uncompromising rule. The pavement and the wall are in play, no relief.
Demanded mastery, even after a mistake.
And that leads us to a final provocative thought. The source material really raised this idea. The road hole demands not just skill, but acceptance. It's designed to show you that even a perfectly executed shot can still find trouble. So if the game's highest test requires players to accept that excellence may still be punished by fate, what does that teach us about the role of chance or acceptance in achieving mastery in any field? Sometimes the most important lesson is learning how to deal with playing it off the pavement. Something to chew on until next time.